I want to start off with some breaking news right now, possibly a fatal shooting. San Antonio police officers firing shots during an incident just a short time ago. That's where we find our John Paul Barajas live. John Paul, we know you just heard from Chief McManus a few minutes ago. Give us the very latest on this shooting.
Well, you mentioned it right now. This was a deadly shooting. Chief McManus told us their covert operations unit was tracking a wanted suspect, wanted on two aggravated robbery warrants, when they found him here at this house right past this fencing where that carport is. When he was exiting that house, the two covert officers approached him. That's when Chief McManus says the suspect then pulled a gun from his waistband and pointed it at officers. He says he did not get a shot off, but officers did shoot that suspect. He was taken to a hospital where he was later pronounced dead. They did not have details on his aggravated robbery warrants. That's pretty much the extent of the information they have right now. We know the suspect is in his 30s, and the two officers involved in this shooting, one had 16 years, the other one 13 or 14. They were detectives, obviously lots of time with the department. Again, this was a covert operation, and they were trying to track down that wanted suspect. And that's the information that the chief has given us at this point. They did not say anything about the type of weapon he had on him at this time or how many shots have been fired. Obviously, there's still lots of investigators here on scene, lots of neighbors here, quite a commotion here. And they've actually set up 4 or 5 different lights all around that home as they're still combing through the entire crime scene. As soon as we learn more, we'll get you the latest. But yes, that suspect has been pronounced dead. Steve?
John Paul Barajas live again. None of the officers involved were injured. Thank you, John Paul. By this time tomorrow, voters across Texas and 15 other states will have cast their ballots on Super Tuesday. Polls open for the Texas primaries at 7 a.m. If you did not vote early, here's what you need to know. Voters must show one approved form of identification. That could be a Texas driver's license or Texas election identification certificate, a Texas personal identification card, or a Texas handgun license, a passport, military ID, or a U.S. citizenship certificate with a picture. You can also fill out a form at your polling location and use one of these forms of ID, a government document with your name and address, a current utility bill, bank statement or paycheck, a government check, or a birth certificate. Now, keep in mind, voters in certain counties can vote at any county polling location, any of them. That includes Atascosa, here in Bexar, Comal, DeWitt, Guadalupe, Hayes, Kendall, and Medina counties. VIA also offering free rides to vote tomorrow. Passengers must have a valid voter registration card. That offer is good for regular bus service as well as VIA Link and VIA Trans service. Now, if you have any more questions about Election Day, we have you covered online right now. An entire page on our website dedicated to tomorrow's primary elections. Just scan this QR code on your screen to stay on top of our complete election coverage and to find more information about what you need to know before you head to the polls. And he's not even on the ballot tomorrow, but Governor Greg Abbott is trying to impact some of the Republican races this primary. The governor targeting state lawmakers who didn't vote for his school voucher plan. 2 of those races in our KSAT viewing area. Steve Allison and John Kimple have been targeted by the governor. Scott Braddock, the editor of the Quorum Report, says the governor's popular right now with Republicans because of his positions on the border.
One way to think about it is that he's accruing political capital on the issue of the border and border security, and he's spending a lot of it against these House Republicans who voted against him on school vouchers.
So will it work? Braddock's not sure. The governor's aggressive ads and campaign unprecedented in the state. We talked to Braddock about tomorrow's election on tonight's KSAT Q&A at 6:30. You can see our entire conversation on KSAT.com, including what Braddock calls one of the most dishonest campaigns he's ever seen. Make sure to stay with KSAT for complete coverage of the Texas primaries. Join Myra and me for our KSAT Super Tuesday live stream. It's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, right after the news at 6. This special coverage will be available on all of our streaming platforms. After requests and back and forth rulings, the U.S. Supreme Court temporarily halting a new state law that would allow local and Texas police to arrest migrants for entering the country illegally. 4 days ago, a lower Texas court blocked the law from taking effect. Then over the weekend, a Louisiana federal court of appeals upheld it. Now it's on pause again, just hours after the Justice Department asked the high court to step in and stop it this afternoon. It was set to kick into effect this Saturday. We need help. That is the message from one San Antonio nonprofit dealing with demand for mental health services. Right now, Big Mama's Safe House provides that care at no cost. The Night Team's Patty Santos takes us inside the program that already has a wait list.
Elizabeth Casanova lost 3 people in 3 years, not to mention other trauma in her life.
A lot of us in our community, blacks and browns, we grow up with this, what happens home stays home.
Casanova knew she needed help, but like many others in her community, she faced hurdles like finding a provider, long wait lists, and insurance.
The financial part of it, I think, is what stops a lot of people.
In this small room at Big Mama's Safe House, Casanova found the help she needed at no cost. She is among 70 people the nonprofit has helped over the last year.
I am a clinical coordinator and licensed therapist.
Dr. Denitra Brooks James joined Big Mama's Safe House to provide mental health services to families impacted by trauma.
We have a community of people who don't get mental and emotional and services.
Last summer, the nonprofit received $144,000 from Metro Health. The money from the American Rescue Plan Act paid for 2 years of community mental health services.
This is your love, this is your passion to help people get better.
I love everything about this. I love giving back.
But with so many people reaching out, she says the need for more therapists is evident.
I can't see everybody. We got a student aboard, an MSW student through Angelo State University, so we're trying to implement as many avenues as we can to get everybody taken care of.
Casanova says she is grateful that she is now able to talk about her loss without breaking down.
It feels good and nice to know that there is someone in the community that cares, because we don't get that too often.
Before you were here, where were these people going?
I have no idea. They're just suffering.
And Steve, Big Mama's is also looking for professionals that are willing to offer their services to this community for free.
Now, the big obstacle, obviously, Patty, to making this a permanent solution, where's the money going to come from?
Yeah, right now they're getting some city funding, but they're really looking to Bexar County commissioners to see if they can fund another person to do this work.
Yeah, that's what they need, more help and more money. Yeah. Thanks, Patty. For the 3rd year in a row, city leaders in Metro Health are bringing back their annual teen mental health survey. SA Youth Commission mental health and well-being leaders say the survey is essential to providing resources and initiatives to help our city's youth overcome social and emotional challenges they face every day. That survey is open to San Antonians between the ages of 12 and 19. It's anonymous. It's available in English, Spanish, and more languages until April 30th. There's a link to that survey right now on our website. Under arrest, but still with a gun. How did he get through 2 different pat-downs? The gun a man used to shoot and kill himself during a strip search inside the Bexar County Jail yesterday should have never been there. We checked jail protocol and confirmed that San Antonio police officers that transport suspects to the jail are responsible for any weapons or contraband on them. San Antonio police arrested that suspect and sent out a report and press release confirming the arresting officer did search 19-year-old Jesus Gonzalez before taking him to jail. They missed the gun, which he had in his shorts under a pair of baggy pants.
It's a secure facility. I mean, literally nobody is armed, not even us. So
KSAT also confirmed that when any suspect gets to the jail, they're patted down there, meaning Bexar County deputies missed the gun in their pat down as well. It was during that strip search when Gonzalez was down to just shorts that he pulled the gun and turned it on himself. San Antonio police now conducting an internal investigation into this incident. It's unclear if any officers are facing disciplinary action. The City of San Antonio's Charter Commission inviting residents to attend a series of city charter review sessions and voice their ideas and feedback on how the city's charter could be changed or improved. Now, that charter mostly deals with city council, the districts, and member compensation. But the commission consists of community members that are experts in finance, education, and public policy. Residents at tonight's meeting were excited to give their input to commission members on what they want to see happen in San Antonio.
I do think that it's an important and kind of immediate way that people can get in touch with their local representatives to stand for things that they believe in and call for action more immediately.
There are 3 more sessions scheduled, 1 later in March, 2 in April. If you can't make it, don't worry. The city says you can dial 311 and listen in. Let's get your Nightbeat news flash now. Former President Donald Trump will appear on Colorado's Republican presidential primary ballot. That's thanks to a unanimous ruling from the U.S. Supreme Court this morning. Colorado's Supreme Court initially removed Trump from the ballot, citing the former president violated the insurrection clause in the 14th Amendment. The High Court's ruling, it applies to any federal candidate, meaning Trump can't be left off ballots in other states with similar lawsuits. The first over-the-counter birth control pill to be approved in the U.S. will be available for purchase this month. The O pill can be bought on the company's website starting in the coming days, but it might be weeks before the medication gets to your local pharmacy. The suggested retail price will be $20 for a month-long supply, $50 for a 3-month supply. The pill's manufacturer says the pill is 98% effective if taken as directed. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash. They need help. A San Antonio nonprofit summer plans up in the air because their budget in question. Why their work is so important to the families depending on them.
A very spring-like day tomorrow, pushing 90. Then temperatures do drop. We have a cool front on the way, a shot at some rain as well. Lower humidity for part of the forecast, and an update on the wildfires and a comparison of the burn scar. We'll be right back.
It's pretty simple. Summer plans are on the line for a San Antonio nonprofit facing a massive budget problem. KSAT needs to come up with $600,000 in a matter of months. The Night Team's John Paul Barajas looked into what this could mean for families relying on these programs.
For 30 years, KSAT has given San Antonio kids a place to create at no cost.
If it wasn't as accessible as it was, KSAT, since the beginning, I probably wouldn't look into it as much.
The free resources have made a difference in Sully Gutierrez's life since 6th grade. KSAT gave him and countless others a place to create and improve their art before going to college.
We are reducing barriers to arts education and to creative youth development, and that's incredibly important across San Antonio, but especially for our community on the west side.
But the nonprofit is facing financial struggles. Its executive director says KSAT is $600,000 in the hole, thanks in part to the pandemic, a transition in leadership, and construction delays on its new location.
If we don't raise the full $600,000, we will have to adjust our programming in the summer and not have the extended hours.
It's a scary thought for families who count on its programs.
We've come to rely on KSAT throughout the summer, and we certainly don't want to see KSAT have to close its doors for the summer in order to get through this hump.
KSAT offers resources for visual art, new media, and film, just to name a few. But the program is about more than just improving students' artistic ability.
She's grown not just in talent-wise with art, but we've seen significant changes in her social abilities and her confidence in herself. It's really an excellent program.
KSAT Executive Director Stephanie Lafrosia hopes to raise the needed funds by June. She adds the first $50,000 and last $50,000 raised will be matched. If you want to help out, you can go to donate.ksat.org. It'll bring you to this webpage with options on how much you want to donate. Even $1 goes a long way. We'll also have that link on our website, ksat.com. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Let's talk about the very latest on those historic fires in Texas. The Smokehouse Creek fire in the Panhandle scorching through more than 1 million acres, charred hundreds of buildings, destroyed entire populations of livestock, and left at least 2 people dead. It's crossed over state lines into Oklahoma, while first responders also dealing with several other fires nearby. And despite crews working around the clock to put those flames out, the Texas A&M Fire Service map says that fire has only been contained at 15%. That is no change from Saturday. In the wake of the record-setting fire, the first of what may be many lawsuits has been filed. One woman living near Canadian, Texas, no longer has a home after this fire. It was destroyed. She's suing the area's power company because she says a fallen power line sparked this. The power company aware of the lawsuit but hasn't commented on the matter. Meanwhile, the Texas A&M Forest Service still working to find out what they say did cause the fire. More lawsuits to file, I'm sure. All right, let's go outside right now. 73 degrees. But you know what? We're going to talk about those wildfires. You can see from outer space the damage, Adam.
Yeah, we did that comparison earlier this evening we did, and I want to give you another comparison of the burn scar compared to our area, how much of our area here in San Antonio that would cover. So let's get to the map. We'll show you the main fires that we're monitoring up in the Texas Panhandle. Of course, the largest in recorded history now. The Smokehouse Creek fire, almost 1.1 million acres burned. So the red outline is the burn scar and the areas that are even still burning around some of the edges of it. Let's take that exact burn scar and put it over our area. Same perspective, basically. Same aspect ratio here. And it would essentially stretch from Seguin all the way to Hondo. And then from the far north side, about Stone Oak, 1604, all the way down to the far south side of 1604. That's a pretty big area. When you look at it this way, I think it puts it in a different perspective.
Well, just look at how many counties it took up.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? Maybe tomorrow night we'll flip it on its side and put it up I-35, just to see how far it would stretch from San Antonio all the way through Austin. So we need rain around here. Yes, we do. 40% chance Thursday, late Thursday night, and into Friday morning. We're at 40%. That's because some instability could combine with upper level energy to kickstart some showers. We had plenty of instability out there today and even upper energy, but no storms to pop because of a cap on our atmosphere. The radar showing a few little showers. It's mainly mid-level cloud cover that it's picking up there. Not any real good soaking rain falling from that. Most of the rain today was East Texas, Louisiana, and into Mississippi. Little ripple in the upper level flow providing our clouds, but they just couldn't break through that cap in the atmosphere to get anything going. Our next system is this little swirl west of California. That's going to be headed our way, and that'll stir things up a little bit as we get into Thursday. We'll have some instability, but we'll still have a cap in the atmosphere, and that cap could play a role in preventing the storms from developing. But right now, we have it at 40%. Stay tuned for updates because we will be modifying that forecast in the days ahead. Notice as the overall rainfall potential, we're right on the edge of the potential and mostly being left out. Quick look at temperatures in our forecast here. 67 this morning, 81 was our high today, but even more spring-like tomorrow. 64 in the morning here in town, a little bit cooler in the hill country. And then by noon, we're already near 80. And then by 4 o'clock, we're almost 90 degrees for our high temperature tomorrow. 90 Castroville, 90 New Braunfels, 87 Bernie and Helotes, 89 Floresville, Poth. However, that's our high point. Temperatures trend downward. And by this weekend, behind a cool front, the warmest we'll get is about 70 degrees. And here's one of the reasons we'll cool down tomorrow is the dew points are high right now. You feel the mugginess, a little bit of patchy fog in the morning. A dry west wind sweeps away that humidity, and that allows us to warm up very efficiently tomorrow. That also means some cooler mornings by Sunday morning. A hint of a chill in the air at 46, so still cool then.
All right. Thanks, Adam. All right, you noticed at the end of the game, so happy the Spurs won.
Yeah.
But Wemby was kind of trying to work out that shoulder. Maybe it was this one. Trying to work out that shoulder.
Yeah, his left shoulder
had happened.
Yeah, so he wasn't on the injury report earlier today, but later tonight he was placed on the injury report, and he's now questionable against the Houston Rockets tomorrow night due to some shoulder soreness. And UTSA volleyball hosted Texas tonight. We got it coming up. Spurs say rookie Victor Wembanyama is questionable for tomorrow night's game at the Houston Rockets due to left shoulder soreness. Now, he appears to hurt his left shoulder when Miles Turner fouled him on this play with 3:29 left in the Spurs' 117-105 win last night at the Frostbank Center. Wemby skipped over and sat on the scorer's table, shaking and grabbing his left arm while leaning over in pain. After hitting both free throws, he stayed in the game and he continued to play until he checked out for good with 51 seconds to go. Victor hasn't missed a game since January 19th when he sat out against Charlotte in the first game of back-to-backs to protect the right ankle that he sprained in Dallas in late December when he stepped on a ball boy's foot while warming up. And how about this? Congratulations to Victor Wembanyama, who was named February Rookie of the Month, winning the Western Conference honor for the second straight month. Last night, Wemby had 31 points, 12 boards, 6 assists, and 6 blocks in 31 minutes. So he's the third rookie in NBA history to record 30 points, 10 boards, 5 helpers, and 5 blocks, joining Tim Duncan and David Robinson. And he's also showing that he's a leader, keeping his composure when the Pacers briefly took the lead in the third quarter. Wemby knows staying cool helps his teammates.
Of course, I mean, every team needs some some people they need to rely on, and sometimes it's the coach or the players, and it's but of course it's is for me, there's no way to lose my composure or even send a negative image to my teammates. Even when I miss, I don't shake my head. I don't don't send any bad messages to my teammate. Keep that to myself.
Spurs will play at the Rockets tomorrow night at 7. Julian Champagny is questionable with a right ankle sprain. UTSA volleyball hosted the two-time defending national champion Texas Longhorns in a spring exhibition match at the Convocation Center tonight. The house was packed to watch the Roadrunners and the Longhorns in this volleyball friendly. Texas would win the first 2 sets. UTSA would take set 3, but Texas takes it 3-2. Now they led 3-1, but they played the 5th set just to give the fans a show. And the UTSA football team opened up spring football this morning at the race practice fields. For head coach Jeff Traylor, this marks his first spring camp without former star players Rashad Wisdom and Frank Harris.
Well, Frank was here, and I told him it was just like last year during spring. He was just standing around watching. So nothing's different so far. That's what we did last spring. But yeah, just him not being the team meeting, him not being on the front row, it's different. We had those 2 kids, right beside each other in team meetings wearing 0 for 4 straight years for me.
As the Roadrunners prep for the new season, they'll also need to find players to wear those coveted single-digit jerseys. The boys' high school basketball state tournament is this week, and the Cole Cougars are heading back to the big dance to play Hitchcock in the 3A state semis. The Cougars won state in 2021, and the seniors this year who were on that team certainly remember that run.
When I was there a couple years ago, I was led by my brother, Trey, and Dre Ray. So, I wasn't the head of the pack, but now I'm the head. So, it's great being able to show these guys how it is, give them a great experience.
I can kind of relate to what a lot of these guys have been through because some of them started on JV. I played with some of them on JV. And I also played with, Trey, Silas, Dre Ray, and they helped me become a better player. And I could just use that experience to help these guys be ready for the moment and be ready to step up and do what they do.
We're trying to prove a point that we could do it. New team, new people, younger people. We're just trying to build each other up. We're just ready to win.
Cole is ranked number 3 in Texas. Hitchcock is number 1 in 3A and the defending state champs. So Cole and Hitchcock will go down at the Dome Thursday at 3 p.m. Then later that night at 7, Veterans Memorial tips off against Colleen Ellison for the 5A state semifinals. Spencer Burford inspiring others after the break.
When he went to UTSA, that was really cool. I always dreamed of playing, going to the next level, and he was one of my inspirations. And now I get the chance to go play to the next level.
San Francisco 49ers right guard Spencer Burford is inspiring football players at his alma mater, Wagner High School. Yesterday before the Spurs game at the Frostbank Center, Spencer met with Thunderbirds varsity football team.
I'm doing something bigger than myself, that I'm enlightening other people's lives with what I'm doing on the field. So that gives me a whole nother drive, a whole nother type of discipline in order to just make sure I put myself in the best position to make sure, to support those people that support me.
And Spencer gets a lot of support from his Wagner community as well as the UTSA Roadrunners. And check it out, we learned this yesterday. Spencer stays at his mom's house when he comes back home, saying it saves him money.
Yeah, and something tells me his mom wouldn't have it any other way.
Probably not. Probably makes mom very happy.
Yeah, moms like their kids staying with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thanks, Larry. We'll be right back.
35 days until the total solar eclipse. April 8th eclipse will rank among the top 25% of eclipses in terms of duration. It's going to be better than normal because the moon is closer to the Earth, so that's going to give us a longer duration of totality. A little more than 4 minutes in parts of the hill country.
Eclipses doesn't sound right.
It doesn't.
Should maybe eclipse-eye.
Eclipse-eye, I like it.
Eclipsians. Something like that. Yeah. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
I was thinking the same thing, man.
I know.